This Coca-Cola 600 Betting Picks edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost, the bank account built for bettors. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code SGPN and get a $25 bonus.
Start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome in to another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez, and yeah, we're a little late today, but there's a reason for that, and that's because, Cody, in the biggest racing weekend, in the biggest time of the year for motorsports, we have to sit and wait patiently for odds to come out. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on here, but I demand a recount.
Yeah, it's frustrating. We had odds, like we had outright odds for the Coke 600 a week ago. We already had to wait on the All-Star stuff. The outright odds came out at the same time. If you know already that far in advance where the outrights should be, how hard could it possibly be to put out top 10s, top 5s, and top 3s? It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. And I think that this just shows that the books are scared because they obviously are afraid to take any action. If they weren't, they would have lines out there. So I guess good on us for scaring them, but give us some fucking odds. Like, that's what you're here for. That's your job. Give us something to bet on. It's very annoying.
It is, and again, it's just hard for us to do our job properly when we have to wait and do it. I mean, again, this is the whole debate that we've had for the last couple of seasons, I suppose. As it, do we give you a show that just is us talking about what we think or what we hope, or do you want concrete picks? And it's like, it's that balance between what do you want? Like, what do you want more? Do you just want NASCAR talk in a betting aspect, or do you want actual picks that we back up and play? So, because we could have pushed everything again a day late like we did last time and do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but we need to give these episodes a little time to breathe and to give you guys an opportunity to listen before something happens. So
yeah, and it's the same thing with the Indy 500. Like, that is the biggest race. I mean, more people watch the Indy 500 than anything else. It's the biggest motorsports race in the entire world. Last year at this time, we already had an episode out because we had a full slate of odds, and there's a smattering of stuff out there. But again, other than top 3s and top 2s, because DraftKings thinks it's a horse race, other than that, like, you don't have top 5s, you don't have top 10s. It's frustrating. What are you doing? We were planning to have an Indy 500 episode this evening. I don't know that we can now because I don't know that there's enough out there to do. So we got to push that later. It's a huge week. There's a lot of stuff to do this week, a lot of content for us to get out there. We want to get it out there so you have time to consume it. And then, yeah, this is a bad way to start the show. All Debbie Downer, Rod, but it's just really frustrating.
It is. And I'm sure all of you guys out there who are bettors, you know the drill too. So we just needed to air some grievances because that's just the way it is. And we have the microphone and you'll listen to everything we say. But let's say hello to Jess. Hi, Jess. She's in the chat already ready. Andrew saying that I was late because I had to host the Carson host of our fan club meeting. And I will tell you right now, they were sorely disappointed that I was the keynote speaker because I guarantee you they did not want anything to hear about what I had to say. JDK has already given away half of the card that we have because there's only 2 bets that we can make. Bowman over Bush plus 110, but Bowman's been hammered down to minus 130. Hey, that Discord moves line, kids. I'm telling you right now, that Discord certainly moves lines. So you got to be in there to pay attention. And yeah, if you're in the chat right now and you see top 10s, scream them out. We'll definitely
at any point while we're live, if you notice a book has top 10s, give them to us because we're going to give out some top 10 bets. We're just going to make our best guess or sort of talk through it where we think they could be. So who knows? But if you see odds, let us know because we'd love to actually be able to give out the real true bets. Also wanted to shout out to Ash in the chat, Rod. For some reason, I think it's because maybe Ash commented before the stream actually started and they didn't show up on here. But over on the YouTube says, evening lads, a bit too late for me. It's a little bit after midnight there, so late, but late weekend with the trucks all-star race. Was wrong about the all-star race. Did not expect it to be that good. I think a lot of people have that same sentiment. Logano was a terrible loser after the race. It's not like he dumped you like Matt Kenseth did. I know he was retracted some of the things he said, but still sour in defeat. And yeah, Ash also complained about no truck odds out yet. There is some Xfinity. That's the thing. We have Xfinity outright head-to-heads. Oh boy, it's frustrating.
It really is. But what's not frustrating though is wearing your favorite SGPN merch and showing off to the world your SGPN pride just like that. Race officials a terrorist. We may have to get another shirt made about something else. But anyways,
Fuck the books.
You could get that. I'm not saying it because we live and die by them too. So definitely get that shirt among all your other racing gambling podcast fun stuff and everything in the merch store right now. We're running a promo 20% off of everything with promo code DGENS. Again, make sure you get that Race Officials of Terror shirt. In fact, Race Officials approve of that shirt. Cody's actually shown that to a few, and they want to buy it themselves.
We have heard from them. They enjoy it.
Yeah, they do because they laugh and they have a sense of humor. So make sure you get that shirt. Show it to your favorite race official. They'll get it too. And you can get it 20% off with promo code DGENS. That's DEGENS. All right, D2 wants to know, Cody, is Larson going to make Charlotte after Indy? Well,
yes.
Depends on the weather.
1,000%. It does not depend on the weather. It doesn't matter. So, yeah, here's the Kyle Larson thing, right? If you're not aware at this point in time, he's doing the double. So he's going to start in Indianapolis with the Indy 500. When that is over, he will fly to the Coke 600. He attempted this last year. Weather, unfortunately, delayed the start of the Indy 500. So that race ran long. It ran into the start of the 600. He made it to Charlotte ready to get in, but that race also had a rain delay. They ended up not going back to racing. What was it? The Coke 312.5 last year or something, Rod? But so the plans were foiled, right? Allgaier started the race and finished it because they only went to the halfway point. Some things have changed this year. NASCAR has changed their rules. IndyCar has also changed their rules, essentially making all Larson rules here. But last year, Larson was granted a waiver. Fine, you missed a race, whatever. They didn't love it. They made him sweat it for a week or two before they gave it to him, but gave it to him. This year, the rule is different. If he misses the race because he's in a different race, you're done. You're out of the playoffs. You lose your eligibility. Obviously, they are not going to let that happen. The deal in IndyCar before was once you started the race, nobody else could get in the car. So if you park it, it's over, it's done. IndyCar, in reaction to NASCAR's new rule, changed their rule. So Tony Kanaan will be on standby for Larson. Weather doesn't look good for either of these races. Unfortunately, something we deal with every year around this time of year. So we're going to have to see how it goes. If the Indy 500 is delayed, there is a chance that if the Coke 600 is still kicking off at the same time, depending how much the 500 is delayed, also no lights at Indy 2 for the record, so they can't run into the dark anyways. Larson may just skip the start of the race. Tony Kanaan would run in his place and just run the whole race. Otherwise, Larson will start the Indy 500, and then at the appropriate time, they would make a driver change. Kanaan would finish the race. So, that we'll talk about that more as far as how those bets would be graded and all that on that side of things. But he will be at the Coke 600 asterisk, assuming everything goes right? There is air travel involved in there, all of those things. So Justin Allgaier will be on standby to start the 600 if he has to, but they will make every possible effort to get him there. It won't be like last year where, they said they were going to prioritize the 600, but then they said, fuck the 600 and stayed for the 500. That's not going to happen this year. They will attempt to get there at all means possible. If it is a case where Allgaier starts the race, Larson finishes the race, you're going to have to check with your books. It probably will be scored if you have a Larson bet as no action. And obviously, if Larson starts the 600, he's going to finish it. So you don't have to worry about it too much on that side of things. It'll be different on the IndyCar side of things. We'll talk about that for the 500. But that's kind of the Kyle Larson rundown, if you will, for Sunday's happenings.
I don't know, man. I heard Reelman do the triple, so he's not in Monaco this weekend. So I don't know if he really is the best driver in the world. Laura saying greetings and cheers. Oh, we both.
Hi,
there.
Laura.
Hi, Laura. Good to see you there. And just a bunch of stuff going on with Kyle Larson. You got to pay attention to. We're going to talk about him a little bit.
I mean, John wants to know, Rod, are there any odds on Larson completing 1,100 miles? All 1,100 miles. What a great bet this would be, because only one person that's ever done it has completed all 1,100 miles. It's Kyle Larson, right? The greatest current driver out there. This would be such a great bet to have. So we'll be talking. Oh, no, we won't, because we can't even get top 5s, top 10s, top 3s, top 2s. We can't even get that for this race, let alone actual good fucking props like this. John, hopefully the books are higher, and if they are, please go apply, because that's the type of bet we should have for this.
Exactly.
I don't understand how.
We have such sharp people in our chat and in our Discord. You guys need to apply for books. I know, Grab, that would take you out of the gambling aspect of it altogether, I'm sure, but I mean, look, you could have some fun creating cool exotic bets like, will Kyle Larson complete all 1,100 miles? And then will Kyle Larson finish within the top 10 in both the Indy 500 and the Coca-Cola 600? And will he fly out to Monaco to take place in the Monaco Grand Prix out there? I'm not going to let that go all day.
I think he's probably not doing that one just yet, but maybe someday. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, listen, if Max Verstappen would give up his seat for a day in Monaco, then I'm definitely interested in all of that. All right. Well, then it is the Coca-Cola 600 from the historic Charlotte Motor Speedway. We are set for, get this, 400 laps around this 1.5 mile paved track for 600 miles, one of the longest races of the season, an endurance challenge to be sure. You start the day. Okay, it is. It is. Definitely an endurance race. You start in the day, run well into the evening. And I mean, look, this race, if you look at the past winners, is a pretty much checkerboard event. And honestly, Cody, as we talk about this race and as we talk about handicapping this race, a lot of what we saw last year, we can't really use because it was a very spotty race, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, last year's tough. I mean, they only ran just over half the race. I think JDK was making the point in the Discord earlier. They ran like 15 caution laps at the end of that when they started sprinkling, so they could get past halfway. And then let us on all night. We got to see Larson land in the helicopter ready to go, and then they just pulled the ripcord when they should have finished the race. But yeah, I mean, last year we still look at it, right, because it was still the race, but it's not the full 600 miles. And that's the thing. We've been to Kansas this year, 1.5 miles. We've been to Vegas this year, 1.5 miles. We've been to Texas this year, 1.5 miles. We've been to Homestead this year, 1.5 miles. All of those were 400-mile races. This is 200 miles. Those races were only 2/3 what this race is. This race has 4 stages, Rod. So points are paid out in all 3 stages during the race. And then, of course, the last stage will finish the race per normal. But it's got that extra stage in it. Used to be a race that was a test of the man, a test of the machine. The machine part, not so much anymore. There's going to be some failures, maybe a little bit here and there. But these machines hold up to standard most of the time now. except for Denny Hamlin the last couple of weeks, but shit happens, right? But 600 miles, that's a lot. It's a long race. We talk about guys that are there at the end. Could be more important this week than out of any other race, right? So, looking back at what they've done previously in the 600, and I think this race probably out of more than the others, you can look past the next gen era. I think next gen era still has a defining, separating line, but what they did previous to that is part of going into a 600-mile race. And obviously, I'm going to look at what have you done specifically at the 3, right? Kansas, Texas, Las Vegas. Homestead is really completely different. I did not include that in any of my research, really. But, so kind of looking at what have you done for me this year on those 3, in a whole sense of the year, along with going that extra 200 miles, because that's a lot. 200 miles extra is a long, long time. It's a lot extra, and a lot can happen and will happen in that last 200 miles.
And for reference, that's like me driving from where I live to LA and back round trip. So it's essentially me driving to LA and then driving home all on the same trip. And I guarantee you right now, that drive is a ridiculous drive, and I wouldn't want to make that once, let alone twice. So I can only imagine what these guys
do.
And
like you mentioned, starts in the daytime, goes into the night. So you're going to have the track will be changing throughout the day. Somebody's going to look fast early in the race that doesn't look so fast later. Somebody's going to look slow early that looks fast later because they're set up for the nighttime. It kind of goes, it's a test of all that. That long of a race is more of a test on the pit crew because they're going to have to make more stops. So a full team effort for sure in this one, and it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit, too, about what could make that race even longer. So that's all coming up. We'll start breaking down some bets, which is what we're here to do. But first, let me tell you about our friends over at Edge Boost. Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. There's no usage fees. There's no minimums. You can earn cashback rewards, and you get 100% approval for all betting deposits. You can sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code SGPN. And if you deposit $25, Edge Boost is going to match that deposit. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. It is time for my Underdog Fantasy Pick'em. Underdog is going long for the NBA playoffs with their extender bonus. Hop in game 1, and the longer the series goes, the bigger the bonus gets. The other day, I actually had myself a fine little day with Underdog on the F1 side of things, and I'm going to do that again. So keep an eye out for that. And of course, we'll give you our F1 or all of our Underdog fantasy picks on the episode when we do that later this week. Sign up in the meantime with our promo code RACESGPN. You're going to claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. That's underdogfantasy.com, promo code RACESGPN. All right, Cody. Well, then, like I said, it is the Coca-Cola 600. Long race, long wait for the odds, but we still have stuff that we like, and we're going to give you what we got. And of course, as we always tell you, stick it through to the Discord if you want to continue to get better bets all week.
Yeah, absolutely. I just was checking around for top 10s. Still don't see any, unfortunately, but if you see them during the show, let us know. DG Rod wants to know if Blaney gets his first one of the week. I think that one of us might have an opinion on that in a little bit, so make sure you stick around. We will be talking about him, but I'm going to start off with a couple of matchups. I'm going to take Mr. William Byron over Tyler Reddick. This one over on Bet365 is at plus 100 for William Byron. Now, you look back and you look at what have they done here in the 600, right? Tyler Reddick's been pretty good in this race, Rod. 4th place last year, 5th place 2 years ago, 6th place 3 years ago. How could you possibly fade somebody like that? Well, it's not so much a fade of Tyler Reddick as it is an endorsement of William Byron. 3rd last year, shortened race, sure, but still beats Reddick. 2nd 2 years ago, beats Reddick there. 3 years ago, 32nd place, but as Ryan over at iFantasy Race noted, was running 8th place, involved in the big one. There was a big crash there and had a bad finish, so that's going to happen, right? But did lead 49 laps last year in that shortened race, led 91 laps 2 years ago. And Byron is just a consistent guy. He's been looking good, looking solid. And Tyler Reddick, You know how much I love Tyler Reddick. I was singing his praises last year. I was high on him. He comes out, he wins the regular season title, all this stuff, but it's been pretty rough for Tyler Reddick. Look back over the last 4 races. 14th place is his best finish in the last 4 races so far this season. The 3 comp tracks we've been to, 17th at Kansas, 21st at Texas, 24th at Las Vegas. We saw a little bit of speed at Vegas, but results not there. Results haven't been there at all, so that's not great. 2 top 10 finishes in the last 9 races for him. You go over to William Byron. Struggled at Kansas, 24th place finish. They had issues really early in that race. He was on pit road. I was there on pit road. He was in pit road all day. Every time they could possibly come down to pit road, they were down there working on that car. So shit happens, right? But 13th place at Texas, 4th place at Vegas. There's that speed you like to see. 5 top 10 finishes in the last 9 races compared to Reddick's just 2 there. And, if you go back actually before Next Gen with William Byron, a 4th place finish here in 21 as well. So he's been good in this race. And Tyler Reddick's not been great this season. And yes, Laura, that's exactly what I was about to say. I love Tyler, but he's in a slump right now. I love Tyler Reddick, and you look at what he's done in the 600, and you're like, there's some hope there, right? But it's not been there lately for Reddick. 23-11, like going into Kansas, 23-11, 23-11, 23-11. Nothing all day. They were nowhere to be seen, nowhere to be found. You couldn't find them. So give me William Byron over Tyler Reddick, especially at even money over there on Bet365. And then, our buddy JDK mentioned the Bowman over Busch at plus 110 is what he got it at. It's now moved to minus 130. I had that one in the card here, but I actually changed it. I still do like that one, but I changed it to Chase Elliott over Kyle Busch, minus 130. We used to call him KFB, Rod, Kyle fucking Busch. We dropped the F. He doesn't deserve to be Kyle fucking Busch anymore. I bet on him in that truck race last week. I shouldn't admit that on the podcast. Well, I guess if you listened last week, you heard that. But ain't no fucking there. It's just Kyle Busch, and it ain't good. It's not been good lately for Kyle Busch. This is another one where, what have you done in the 600? Holy shit, Kyle Busch has been pretty good here, right? 15th last year, but 6th, second the last couple of years. His finishes before that before the Next Gen era, 3rd, 4th, 3rd, 1st, 2nd, like good here. He's been really good here. And for Chase Elliott, 7th place last year, the shortened race, 34th and 33rd the 2 previous years. They were not good finishes, but big asterisk, Rod, because you look at that, and Discord did this to me. They're like, looking at his Next Gen stats, they're just not there. I get it, right? 7th place last year, there's definitely some bright sides there. 34th in 2023, that was the Denny Hamlin race. Remember, he right-hooked Denny Hamlin. They got into it early, just had issues. He ends up getting suspended for a race after that. Toss it out. The year before that, a 33rd place finish, but he led 86 laps. He won stage 1. He looked really good. Got caught up in the wreck. Now, 600 miles, you have to get to the end. I get it, right? But a little bit of an asterisk on those. You go back before that, 2nd place here in 2021, 2nd place in 2020. They also ran a 500-mile race 4 days after the 600 in May of 2020. COVID times were crazy, Rod. But he won that race, so a 1st and a 2nd place that year, 4th in 2019. He's been good here. Could have won at Kansas. Now the result wasn't there yet again, right? The pit crew messed up, but you've got more time to recover from that in this race, which you like. You saw the speed there. They made some adjustments on that pit crew as well, and changed out a guy or two. So I like that. But you look at Kyle Busch, 21st at Kansas, 20th at Texas, 33rd at Vegas. Elliott, 15th, 16th, and 10th. Not overly impressive, but consistent. Not been consistent for Busch. 1 top 10 in the last 8 for Kyle Busch. 4 top 10s in the last 8 for Chase Elliott. I love Kyle Busch, and maybe betting against him is the way to get him to do something good. But until I start seeing actual results again, I think you got to go against Kyle Busch. So I'm taking Chase Elliott over him, minus 130 on ESPN. But I do like that Bowman over him as well.
And I should have listened, I suppose, to the folks in the chat when they said that Kyle Busch is actually done. Because when you see him not dominate a truck race, you know something's up. So there's just no way on God's green earth he could have been out.
That's what just really pushed me over the limit. Like, he just wasn't even that competitive in that race. I mean, he started outside of Heim and just gave it up to Heim right away. Never really challenged him. Yeah, the speeding penalty kind of fought back through it, sure, but he did not look like Kyle Busch in that race. And I don't know if he's eating too much Star Kiss these days, what's going on for Kyle Busch, but I've been trying. I keep betting on him. I had him outright at Kansas. Like I'm trying to do things with him, but I'm not seeing it out of the veteran. And maybe this 600-mile race is what he needs. But Chase Elliott is Mr. Reliable, like the most reliable guy that you can always rely on. That's what I want in this race, and I can't get that with Busch right now. So got to fade the Kyle Busch. The KB, as we call him these days, Rob.
The K no FB. All right, look, so we're not dropping the F-bomb. We're dropping the F, but not dropping the F-bomb. All right. So the reason I was late was not because I was there at the Carson Hocevar fan club. I was at the Ty Gibbs fan club getting all the hate that I could. I'm going to continue that going right now. I'm going to take a head-to-head against Ty Gibbs, and I'm going to take Ross Chastain over Ty Gibbs at -115. Rod, Ty Gibbs is the greatest driver in the world, Rod. There's no way that Ty Gibbs is ever be bad. His average finish this year is 20.6 is his average finish this year. His last three finishes: 17th at Dega, 23rd at Texas, 28th at Kansas. Rod, he started 6th in both Texas and Kansas. Yeah, but he finished outside of the top 20 in both of those races. You want to look at some mile and a half this year? Let's look at some mile and a half this year for Ty Gibbs. 29th place start at Las Vegas, 22nd place finish there at Homestead, 13th place start, 25th place finish. I'm sorry, you guys, but there is nothing that is making me get super excited about. Oh, Rod, he finished 6th in last year's race at Charlotte. He started on the pole. He led 74 laps. Yeah, who knows what he would have done in the second half of that race. We only ran half of that. You know what he probably would have done? Finished 26th like he did in 2023 after starting 19th. I'm just, again, not necessarily. King's already ready for it. King said, shocker. I'm taking something over Ty Gibbs. But here's the thing. Tell me I'm wrong. Like, nobody's been able to tell me I'm wrong yet. Now, Ross Chastain, you look at his season, his average finish, 13.9. All right, well, let's look at some mile and a half, shall we? Started 19th at Las Vegas. Oh, he sucks. Oh, wait, he finished 5th. All right. He did finish poorly at Homestead. Okay, 31st place finish. But he has got 6 top 10 finishes, does Ross Chastain. One of them was in Texas a couple of weeks ago where he finished, mind you, 2nd place. Where did he start in that race? 31st. He had speed to drive up through the field. Did Ty Gibbs? No. That is why I am going to go ahead and take Ross Chastain over Ty Gibbs. Like I said, 2 top 5 finishes for Chastain this season. You can tell me how many top 5s Ty Gibbs has. Oh, he's got 1, but he's only got 2 top 10 finishes this year on this entire season, a season where he's supposed to be the second coming of Jesus Cristo. So no, I am not going to give him his flowers. I'm going to, in fact, take Ross Chastain over Ty Gibbs at -115 over on DK.
Well, Laura agrees with you, Rod. Says you're not wrong. She's making a bet on the Watermelon Man. King says that you would take Natalie Tecker over Ty Gibbs. Oops.
I would take Natalie Portman over Ty Gibbs.
King, by the way, pointing out over in the Ty Gibbs Nation earlier today, Rod, Facebook group. Go check it out if you're a real Ty Gibbs fan, not like Rod. It is his 100th start this weekend. Kurt Busch, who he subbed in for to get his first career start, elected to the Hall of Fame today. It's Ty's hometown where he grew up in Charlotte. It's Ty Gibbs week, Rod. That being said, and I would love to see him get his first win, and I hope he does. I don't really have much of a rebuttal to your stats because, like the Kyle Busch thing, I've been rooting for him, but it's been pretty rough. But
see, here's what we get tied
makes up. That's what makes it tough.
It does. But here's where we get tied up, right? You guys, it's so fun. It's funny to get caught up in all of the stuff of like actively rooting against somebody, but I'm not actively rooting against somebody. Like, I don't want to see Ty Gibbs go out and do horrible. I'd like to see him do well. I just say from a betting perspective, that's what I'm calling balls and strikes here. I'm not showing friends. I'm showing money.
Yeah, that's what we have to do. And sometimes we do let little biases creep in, right? But in this case, like the case you've laid out, it's hard not to take Ross Chastain over Ty Gibbs because of what you've seen from him lately. And while we could be rooting for and hoping that Ty finishes better and has a great day, it's tough.
That's fine. And it does make victory that much sweeter, King. I'm with you on that one as well. Look, you got to have haters, right? Because if you don't have haters, then you didn't make it.
Exactly.
That's why I don't have haters, because I haven't made it yet. So, all right, Cody, where we? Let's load up one more bet and then we'll go to break.
All right. I'm gonna jump down the card. We'll come back to these top 10s. Justin, I'll be giving the books one more chance here, Rod. Maybe they get it done. We'll see. Let's move over to top finishing Ford. This is, again, if you've listened to the show for any period of time, you know how much we love this market. Things can go wrong. Things can go crazy, especially in a 600-mile race, right? Should Ryan Blaney be fast? Yes. Should Joey Logano be fast? Yes. Can things happen to them, go wrong? Yes. Can things bad happen to the RFK guys, Rod? We've seen it all year, including not being able to see the orange stuff on the track when there's a cone on the fence that you can clearly see. Okay, anyways, things can go wrong for these guys, right? That's what we know can happen, especially in a 600-mile race. So with that being said, I'm going to go for the long shots. Zane Smith, the guy we love to go to, a guy we go to back to all the time, 50-1 to be the top finishing Ford. Look, maybe you have to win this race to be the top finishing Ford. Maybe you only have to finish 8th or 13th. It just, things can go crazy. We've had the big one in this race before. Guys have had trouble. Ryan Blaney's not been able to stay out of his own way this season. Joey Logano, you never know where he's going to be. He's looked good lately, but now he's whining and crying about a caution that everybody knew exactly when it was going to come out. So maybe he's in his head. Who knows? Like, things can happen. Things can go wrong. Zane Smith coming off a 16th place finish at Kansas. That's a good, solid run. And again, he just kind of sticks around, plugs away, does his thing, gets a little better, and 16th at the end of the day. Well, you add an extra 200 miles to that, keeps creeping forward, right? Now all of a sudden he's in the top 10. Now all of a sudden he's the top finishing Ford. 17th place at Texas, 23rd at Las Vegas. 33rd place last year, but that was in the Spire car. He was not good in that car. He had a rough season. Don't care, throw it out. Oh, they only ran half the fucking race anyway. So even better, right? Don't care about last year. 10th place finish in 2023, part-time in front row. That was the year that front row said, sorry, Todd Gilliland, you don't have enough sponsorship. You're out. We're putting Zane in for a couple of races here and there. And Gilliland was overrunning Rick Ware that week, but 10th place finish for Zane Smith. So we know that he can get a good finish. We know he can get to the end of this race if he's in a good car like he is this year. And then the aforementioned Todd Gilliland, going to take him as well, 100-1 to be the top finishing Ford. So many things can go wrong with all these other top Fords, and these front row cars are good cars. This is solid equipment. We love these two guys. We love betting on them. Just finished 12th place at Kansas. He just finished 11th place at Texas. This is what we want. 17th place finish here last year, so a solid run. Again, short race, 33rd and 23, but that's what I just mentioned. He was in the Rick Ware car. Throw it out, doesn't matter. 16th place here in 2022. Getting to the end of the races, having solid days. That's what you're looking for. So give me Zane Smith at 50-1. Give me Todd Gilliland at 100-1. And then at the top Toyota market, Chase Briscoe. The Discord's going to love this one. I'm big on Mr. Briscoe this week, Rod. I'm going to take him 12-1. And John Hunter Nemechek at 90-1. Denny Hamlin's great in this race, Rod. Look at how the last 2 weeks went for him, right? Things can go wrong. Tyler Reddick's been great in this race. Hasn't finished better than 14th in 4 weeks. Things can go wrong, right? Bubba Wallace is good a mile and a half, but he hasn't really been this year. Ty Gibbs, you just made a case against him. Christopher Bell, things don't always go right. Things can go wrong for these guys. That's what you're looking for. So starting off with Chase Briscoe, just finished 4th place at Kansas. And it was the quietest 4th place finish possibly ever. You never heard from the guy all day. And maybe they showed him more on TV. I was there in person, but I just looked up and I'm like, oh, Briscoe's in 4th place. Like, where the fuck? I didn't even see him all day. Like, he just quietly, that's what you want in a 600-mile race. He's in a really, really good car. It's a Gibbs car, that 19 car. Once led like 590 of the 600 miles at this track, right? 11th place finish. No, wait, that's the wrong stat. Sorry. 4th place at Kansas, slow and steady, right? 3 top 4 finishes in the last 7 races. It started out bad for Briscoe this season. We made a lot of fun of him. Things are getting better. They're starting to figure stuff out. He's getting comfortable in this car, making the appropriate changes. You like that. 25th last year, 20th the year before in the 4 car, whatever. A couple of years ago, though, that was in the 4 car. Yes, 25th and 20th the last 2 years. So, again, he had a 4th place finish here 3 years ago. That's what I was looking for. Yes, a 4th place finish. That could easily be top finishing Toyota. That was in the 4 car, and that was back in 2022. He's a lot more experienced now in a much better car. Martin Truex Jr., 12th, 3rd, 12th the last 3 years. Ran good in this car as well. So give me Chase Briscoe to be that top finishing guy. And then John Hunter Nemechek, part of this. That team has quietly been really good, really solid, Rod. 10th place finish at Kansas for John Hunter Nemechek. 8th place finish at Texas. If they keep running like this and keep running well, and Denny Hamlin has a problem, and Christopher Bell gets damaged and goes a lap down, and some other guys have issues, John Nemechek in 8th, 10th, maybe he creeps up to 6th in the extra 200 miles. You like to see it, right? It's been low key, it's been quiet, but both of these cars have been running better. Racing into the All-Star race last week, that's got to be such a boost of confidence for him, for that entire team. You love it. 30th place last season, not a great run. Legacy was out to lunch all year last year. It was rough. He hadn't made starts since 2020 before, when he was with Front Row Motorsports at the time, but 16th place in 2020 in the 600 and 13th place in the 500 miler 4 days later here at Charlotte as well. So good, solid runs, getting to the end of the race. John Nemechek is a good driver. He can take care of his equipment, just survive, be there at the end. 90-1 for Top Toyota. It's worth a shot.
Legacy Motor Club, baby. Gotta love us some Jimmy Johnson. Look, and that's a thing, too.
Jimmy Johnson's in this race, by the way. We forgot to talk
true.
about the entry list, Rod, but Jimmy Johnson is making his 700th career start, I believe, this weekend.
I think that's what they lined it up for. So, yeah, unfortunately, we don't get any top 10s on him yet, but I would definitely cement him in a top 10 bet just for the living hell of it. Because listen, look, this is the shot in the arm that we were talking about with Jimmy Johnson taking over the full-time role as the owner. I mean, we've seen Eric Jones do well. We've seen John Hunter do well. And I mean, these legacy cars aren't jokes anymore. Yeah,
like it's second year in Toyota. Jimmy's fully taken over charge now. There has been market improvement, as we just noted with John Nemechek. This is our kind of chance to get in on these guys while they're still not adjusting to them. He shouldn't be 90-1 after top 12 finishes in the last 2.5 miles we just had. He's been in the mix and a little bit of a better finish, some problems for some other guys. How many times do we see this? Like, yes, Bell and Hamlin should be great. Reddick should be great, but guys have problems. Guys get caught up in wrecks. Things happen, and you end up with, oh, shit, Eric Jones a couple of weeks ago. Was that, I don't remember what, I didn't go back and look. I think it was Texas or something, but was the top finishing Toyota. And we're just like, where'd that come from? But it happens.
It certainly does. And again, we benefit from it because we definitely look up and down the board for you as well. All right, step away real quick, come back, finish our betting cards for you, but like to tell you about our friends over at Rhythm. Rhythm is your home for AI-backed picks and props. You can dominate the NBA playoffs, PGA, MLB, and the WNBA just launched as well, and that season is fully underway. Rhythm knows you'll love it, and that's why they include a 7-day free trial looking at all of Caitlin Clark's stats, trying to figure out which side of the props. I mean, Rhythm's probably going to tell me to just bet the over on every single thing that Caitlin Clark does this entire season. So thank you, Rhythm, for backing me up on all of that. And plus, they've got some amazing deals going on right now. 25% off a monthly subscription with promo code SGPN25 and 50% off an annual subscription with promo code SGPN50. That's RITHMM, promo code SGPN25 or SGPN50. Get your 7-day free trial today. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. You play fantasy football, you know you do, and you want to draft in beautiful, sunny Viva Las Vegas. Well, Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas is giving away the ultimate fantasy football experience for a 12-person league to draft in Vegas and be treated like VIPs for the entire stay. Winner's going to get a 2-night stay at the Circa Resort and Casino for the entire 12-person league. Make sure you get the room assignments beforehand. It's 6 double king rooms, so don't be thinking that you're going to get your own room, and don't go trying to pick the guy that's going to snore all night and keep you up if you actually decide to sleep. Whatever. Anyways, you get to hold your draft at the Cabana at Stadium Swim with a $5,000 food and beverage credit. When you win, you get limo transportation to and from the airport. You get a welcome party at Legacy Club for the league and a reservation at the world's largest sportsbook with, get this, $500 beverage credit for the league. And if that's not enough, how about a 2-hour open bar package for the league at Overhang Bar? The contest is going now through June 30th. Get yourself in there now at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CIRCA. Let me tell you about our friends over at, look at me. I'm so slow on the click. Let's tell you about our friends over at mybookie.ag. That's right, mybookie.ag. We're brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every single sport that you can even imagine, including the NBA playoffs, because who doesn't want to get in on some of that sweet NBA action? For the true degens out there, the MyBookie money bag is also there. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations, probably even yours. You get easy deposit and lightning fast payout using cryptocurrency. All that Dogecoin that you were saving up for, you get a chance to spend right now. You know that I love me some Call of Duty League. I actually downloaded Call of Duty again because I wanted to start playing it after watching so much Call of Duty League. Miami Heretics taking on the Carolina Royal Ravens. Miami's on a hot streak, but I don't know if I want to lay 185 on them. So I'm going to take Carolina to upset these guys, plus 131 for Carolina to upset the Miami Heretics. For esports and the Call of Duty League, head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. The world was trying to tell me to stop talking about Call of Duty. And I really did, Cody. I re-downloaded Call of Duty again because I've been playing football so much that I just needed something else to do. So downloaded Call of Duty, been playing it now, and getting my ass kicked, by the way. Just for those of you keeping score.
Hey, you gotta start somewhere, I guess, Rod.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if the guys could dance over you and make you feel miserable like they do in Fortnite, I would be getting danced on a lot. But all right. Next bet for me, my friend. I'm going to, I guess, dance on somebody else's grave, unfortunately, and that's the grave of Brad Keselowski. Man, if there's any just sign that I ever needed, that was last week at the All-Star race where Brad Keselowski parks it on the pole, and you think, okay, Brad K's back. Well, guess what? He dropped like a rock. A lot like we were talking about somebody else did, Kyle Busch at the truck race, right? Just not good. So I'm going to take Bubba Wallace over Brad Keselowski, minus 125 for this one. Hey, look, I mean, what can you say about Brad Keselowski this season other than if I were to tell you somebody's average finish this year is 27.2, you would tell me safely that is a person that you can fade week after week after week. 0 top 10s. 0 top 5s, just a absolutely miserable. He's got 5 DNFs. 3 in the last 3 weeks has Brad Keselowski. You want to talk about miserable luck? Thy name is Brad Keselowski. So, again, any head-to-head over anybody over Brad Keselowski I'm going to take, but more particularly Bubba Wallace, right? His average finish this year, not glaring, not jumping off the page. It's 19.6, but he does have 4 top 10 finishes and 2 top 5 finishes. A couple of bad finishes. He also has crashed out of a couple of races, and that's including Kansas and in Texas. But you go back to Vegas, 28th place finish. That's not really good either. But guess where Brad Keselowski finished in Vegas? Oh, he finished 11th. That's fine. But again, it's just these last stretch of races for Brad Keselowski that I am not feeling very good about. And I think that if Bubba Wallace can keep himself upright, if he can keep himself on the track in this particular race, I kind of like his chances to go ahead and finish better than Brad Keselowski in this one. And you look at the average finishes on this one. Our friends at iFantasy Race have the next gen average finishes for this Charlotte track. Bubba Wallace, 9th place in that with an average finish of 14.3. 14th for Brad Keselowski, average finish of 7th. So again, this is something where I'm really banking on the fact that it has been so rough out there for Brad Keselowski. Even when it looks good, all of a sudden it doesn't. So not necessarily liking Brad Keselowski's chances to finish well in this race, where I think if Bubba Wallace, like I said, can at least stay competitive throughout the race, he'll finish better than Brad K. So give me Bubba Wallace over Brad Keselowski, minus 125.
Yeah, last week was just brutal for that team. They put it together in qualifying, gets on the pole, and then it looked like he was in a drag car and put out his parachute and just flew backwards. Insane. And they got speed at Kansas. They look fast. Yeah, but is that because they were running super low tire pressure? And look what happened, right? He wrecks it from second place because the tire pressure was so low. If that's what's bringing the speed there, anybody could go do that, but it's not going to hold up clearly as it didn't there. So a lot of questions there, and things have just, again, it's a case of a guy we want to see do good. Like Brad has been around and we love him and he's been doing good. And man, the purple cars he's been running the last couple of weeks have been beautiful. It's a beautiful build submarines, military looking car this week. You love it, but it's not been good for him. And Bubba's been not been overly great lately, but he's been just consistent enough, and that might be all you need to win this. So it's another case of you want to see Brad do better, but you really haven't seen it lately.
Well, and then even still, like if you look at the track history here, I mean, the last couple of races for Bubba, he finished 4th in the last full race that they did in 2023. And really Brad Keselowski in that one finished 19th and he started in 3rd. So again, it just kind of goes to the point where he'll start well, but the finishing is not necessarily there for Brad Keselowski. So
speaking of starting spots too, I just wanted to toss this out there. Starting spots this week at the Coke 600, in my opinion, mean almost nothing. Do not overreact. Now, if somebody's fast in practice and starts in the pole, like, you're going to want to obviously take that into consideration for DFS and maybe even some betting stuff, but don't overreact to, he didn't qualify well. There's 600 miles for them to figure it out. The car might be slower in the daytime and faster at nighttime. Like, JDK, in the Discord was saying, if you race with the squirrels, you can get your nuts cracked. Yes. Sometimes you can get your nuts cracked up front too. But just don't overreact to starting spots this week, because it's 600 miles. A lot's going to happen. A lot's going to change. And, that even if you're starting dead last, start you on the pit lane like F1 does and fall a lap down. Like, I'm not overly concerned about it, because you got 600 miles to figure it out and make it up. And if you're worth anything, you'll be able to get it done.
Well, and then later on in the episode too, I'm going to tell you exactly why that doesn't matter, because there's going to be a lot of opportunities for you to stop and work on that car and move yourself up, or don't stop. I mean, it's just, there's so many strategies that can play out for you. So definitely love it. All right, Cody, where are we going next?
Well, I'm going to take a page out of your book, Rod. I'm going to go to that winning car number. This one was just too juicy to pass up on. Caesars has the winning car number under 12.5 at plus 115. We're going to talk about it when we get to the outright section. It is like splitting hairs between the top 5-6 guys in the odds this week, and it's really tough. So you're telling me now at plus 115, I can get Kyle Larson, who just blew everybody's pants off at Kansas and dominated the day. There's the argument against him. He's going to be coming from Indy. Okay, fine. I don't have to just rely on Kyle Larson, but he's included in this bet. I get Denny Hamlin, who's been one of the fastest cars on the mile and a half, continues to do good in this race year and year again. I get Ryan Blaney, who's probably been the fastest car this year that things just haven't worked out for. Those three alone probably make this worth it. Oh, by the way, what if Ross Chastain has a really good day? You made a good point for him earlier. Ben's solid. They've had speed in that car. I like it. What if Austin Cindric has a great day, Rod? Penske cars have been fast. We've seen a lot of speed out of Austin at a couple mile and a halves, out of Penske cars, all 4 of them at mile and a halves. He's included in this. Austin Dillon drives a 3-car, Rod. He's won this race before. He is good at these endurance long races. Noah Gragson's in there as a wild card. Brad Keselowski, we just took a bet against him, but he showed a lot of speed at Kansas. They've shown some hopes and wishes, and what if it works out? He's included. Justin Haley gets honorable mention. Kyle Busch. I made a point against him earlier, but what if he puts it together? What if 600 miles is what he needs to work on the car, get it done? All of these guys are included in this. Chase Elliott. I'm going to talk a lot more about him in a little bit. He is included in this, Rod. Ty Dillon is included in this. You get all 12 of those drivers, and what? 9 of them have a legit shot at winning this race. Justin Haley, Ty Dillon, probably not going to win this race. The other 9 could all win this race. You're getting plus money. Over a 600-mile race, when things happen and guys are going to fall out and whatever, to have big hitters like Blaney and Larson and Hamlin and Elliott, and then the longer, guys that could get it done in the Bushes and the Keselowskis and the Chastains, to have all of those guys in this group of plus money, I really like this bet. At plus money at plus 115 over on Caesars for winning car number under 12.5.
Yeah, I love that one. I was going to actually double down as well and do a 10-19 band. That was like plus 300, I think plus 310 or something like that, because I do really love the Hamlin part of that. I love the Blaney part of that. And so, and then of course, above that, you get a couple extra guys that could actually toss their hat in there, like a Busch or those types of guys as well. But yeah, definitely love the under 12.5, because again, you're doubling down on a Kyle Larson as well on this one, just in case he does come out and spank the field. So definitely with you on that one. Good choice in the winning number bet.
Thank you.
I am going to go, look, there's not individual top 10s out there, but there is all to finish inside of the top 10 from Caesars. Definitely excited about this one. And I will give this one as my official play as top 10, I guess. Right. And it's Larson, Reddick, Byron, all to make the top 10. There's a bunch of them that are minus money that, obviously you probably know are going to cash, but this one's the most intriguing one. This one's the longest odds that makes sense to actually bet. So Larson, Reddick, Byron, all to finish inside of the top 10. And when you look at the average finishes here in the next gen era from our friends over at iFantasy Race, Tyler Reddick is the first car on the board for the average finish in terms of where he ranks in that. He's got an average finish of 5th on the next gen era in Charlotte, right? So that's 5th. And then you scroll down, William Byron is 6th in that one. Kyle Larson is the only one who is not in the top 10 in this one, but that's because of a couple of different reasons. One, he didn't run last year's race, obviously. And then in the 2023 race, he ended up finishing in 30th place. So that takes him out of the top 10 running. However, I'm telling you right now, Kyle Larson will not be denied of a top 10 finish this particular year when he actually runs this race. So you're giving me the guy with the best average finish in the next gen era in the race here. So a 5th place average finish for him. Bowman again sitting just outside of that at 12.3, but a 32nd place finish in 2022 pretty much skewed that because he had a 2nd and 3rd place finish in the following 2 years. So again, that says to me, good solid finishes for both of those guys. And then you're getting Kyle Larson thrown into that mix too, which you should get Kyle Larson in the top 10, and he should be parked inside of the top 10. So you're giving me 3 of the best drivers on this track and pretty much in the sport right now inside of the top 10, right? Larson, Byron, pretty much shooing for top 10s. Tyler Reddick's the guy that kind of makes you squirm a little bit just because you've seen the speed time, and you were talking about it too when Byron over Reddick, but this doesn't matter. Byron could still finish over Reddick. It could be 6th, 7th place finish, and both of these guys are still in the top 10, and we're good to go. It could even be a 4th place finish for Byron and a 10th place finish for Reddick, and we get this. So however Reddick gets in the top 10, I'll take him, especially alongside of Larson and Byron. So Caesar's giving us that bundled top 10 at plus 110, so I'll take it.
Yeah, I don't have too many arguments with this. I mean, you really made all the points. Like, these are 3 of the better drivers. They should have good days. Things can go wrong, right? We know that, but they should all be top 10 at the end of the day. So hard to argue too much with it.
Beautiful. All right, where we go next?
Well, Rod, Bovada has top 3s out, so I guess we're getting closer. But yeah, I don't know. So these other 2 sections I have reserved for top 10 bets. We don't have any top 10 odds. We delayed the show by 3 hours trying to give them time to put up top 10s. Again, go back and listen to the rant at the beginning of the show. We don't have them. So these are just going to be basically guesses and where I think they probably will land at or about. Stay tuned in the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. Jump in the NASCAR channel there. We'll update when we get official things. And maybe I'll even try to put a video out probably 30 minutes after the show's over when they actually post the odds. Because I think they're waiting for us, Rod, or something. But pay attention to the Discord, pay attention to YouTube, NASCAR Gambling Podcast over there. And we'll get you actual lines when they come out and update the picks as needed. But Chase Elliott, I think, is probably going to be, he's as much as 17-1 on some books. I think his top 10 number is going to be around even money, minus 110. I would play him up to minus 130 probably for Chase Elliott. So he's going to be the guy I start with. I touched on him earlier in that head-to-head over Kyle Busch, but a guy that I really, really like this week is Chase Elliott. Again, You look at the next gen stats, they're not great, but it's got those asterisks. 7th place last year. The 34th and 23 was the Denny Hamlin right hook race. Got suspended after that one. It was just a tough day. 33rd the year before, but he led 86 laps, won that first stage before getting caught up in that wreck. 2nd place here in 21, 2nd place here in 20, won the 500 miler in 24 days before or after the 600. 4th place here in 2019. He just almost, that dominating performance we had by Kyle Larson, he almost won that race at Kansas. A bad pit stop put him back. Doesn't get the result. Hopefully we don't have any more bad pit stops for the 9 car. But if it does, probably going to have time to recover from him, right? Because it's a long race. Chase Elliott, we talk about all the time as not the fastest car, not the best car, but he's just going to be there at the end. He's going to get you to the end. More top 20s than anybody last year, all this stuff. He gets you to the end. That's what you're looking for. If that's around even money, minus 130 even, I would take the Elliott top 10. Ty Dillon, Rod, I think he's probably going to be somewhere in the range of 18-1, maybe even 20-1. That's what we saw from him a couple of weeks ago. It's been impressive from Ty Dillon this season. Kansas was a 35th place finish. Not a good result. He got caught up in a wreck there. They got 3-4 wide. Maybe it was his fault. Maybe it wasn't. Okay. Running well before that, doesn't get the results. That happens, right? But 12th place finish at Texas. He's just quietly been, 21st at Vegas wasn't bad earlier in the season. 16th at Darlington is a good run on an intermediate, tougher track to run on. He's got 15th places at Martinsville, 16th place at Phoenix. It's just, in an overall sense, been a good, solid year for Ty Dillon. And the type of guy who's going to go out there and just muscle it for 600 miles. And is he going to be running there after 400 miles? Maybe not. But between 400 and 600, that's where we're going to We're going to see him keep making those gains, moving forward. I think this line is probably going to be north of 15-1. Probably would take it all the way down to 13, 14 even. I think it's going to be a little higher than that. But I like Ty Dillon as a guy that can just go out there, quietly have a good day, and put it together like he's been doing a majority of the season so far, and be kind of a surprise. Whoa, look at Ty Dillon, this long race, getting there at the end and just finding his way to the front. I think we could see that this week. So the Chase Elliott side of things at around even money-ish, and Ty Dillon somewhere in that 18-1 range for top 10s.
You'd have told me at the beginning of the season that Ty Dillon would be the better of the two colleague drivers. I would probably have told you were crazy, but here we are.
I don't want to take too much away from AJ because it's been rough the last couple of weeks, and the engine comments might not want to touch him going into a 600-mile race. But he's had a good season until the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, he's just a frustration. You can see it. It just every time he steps out of that car, there's so much frustration, which is, again, why I love him. But then they say, Rod, Carson Hocevar also wears all of his emotions on his sleeve. Yeah, but Carson Hocevar is a damn right. All right, here we go. I'm going to tell you how not only your Ty Dillon bet can cash, but some of your other long shot top 10s can cash, and how you can get from 30th on the grid to 10th or 1st or whatever. That's by way of the caution flag, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, my favorite color is yellow, and I believe that it's going to wave a lot this weekend. 13.5 is the number set for cautions, and I'm taking the over, minus 115 over on Caesars. Let me tell you, in the next gen era, last season, again, we only ran 249 laps out of a possible 400 laps of this race. However, we had 7 caution laps for 46 laps in that one. Now, I get it. Most of those, or a few of those, were caution or weather related. I get it. But even still, we were well on our way to having a nice chunk of cautions because we had one already after 87 laps, the 66 spun, and then the end of stage 1. So that's 2 right there. 12 stopped on the track at 159. Then we had an incident between the 10 and the 47 at 127. Then we had 21 spin on the backstretch. Then we had 7. That was already 6 of them right there for cause, right? Then the rain brought out the final one at 246. So again, this was a chippy one full of a lot of stuff going on. Well, in the 2023 race, guess how many cautions there were? 16 cautions for 83 laps in 2023, a next gen. Well, not to be outdone, 2022, 18 cautions for 90 laps. You say this is a long race. Oh, yeah, it's a long race, all right. And it's made longer by the fact that we see a lot of yellow flags wave in this one because there's just a lot more opportunities for you to getting yourself into trouble, right? Trying to push the limit too much, trying to do too much 3, 4, 5 wide if you want to try to, because we've seen a lot of that aggression over the last few weeks, but it's not slowing down any. Tempers always flare in this one. And I mean, 13 and a half cautions, it seems like a lot, but boy, when you're talking about 16, 18, I mean, and to put it in perspective, before the next gen era, the 2021 Coke 600, there was only 4 cautions for 26 laps. The 2020 500, there were 7 cautions, but in the 2020 Coca-Cola 600, there were only 8 cautions in that one. So I don't know what it is about this next gen car. I don't know what it is about the next gen driver, but they sure as hell do love to bring out those yellow flags. So give me 14 of them. We'll cash this bet.
Yeah, you look at that and you're like 13 and a half, 4. But you got to remember, Rod, 600 fucking miles. Like, I can't say that enough during this episode. 200 miles more than the other mile and a half we've been to. Think about, and you just mentioned the next gen car. Think about how on edge the drivers talk about this car being, and a little bit of air here. And how many times have we seen second place spin out or first place spin out or different things happen? We've had tires going down here and there. 600 miles is somebody's going to lose an engine at some point during the day. Oh, there's 4 stages. That's 3 already built-in caution flags. Those caution flags do count towards the total. So you've already spotted 3 before the race even starts. Cautions breed cautions. You bunch them all back up after the stage. That's when we kind of get a flurry of things. Late in the race, you're going to get tired at 600 miles of racing, 1,100 for some of these guys, or at least one of them, right? But yeah, I think that it looks like a really big number, and you look at it and you're like, 14, but over 600 miles. That's a long fucking time. A lot can happen in that time. And like you said, it's happened recently. So yeah, I like it.
I do too. Peanut Cheese saying, what's up? Glad I can finally catch you all live. What's up, Peanut Cheese? Glad you could catch us live as well. Always love to see new listeners.
That's a great, yeah, that's a great name. Love to see new listeners always. So yeah, I'm glad you joined us live. Make sure you click that subscribe, hit the little bell. That way you're notified whenever we do go live. And I wanted to go back and just put a bow on the Ty Dillon thing, Rod. I forgot to give out one of my favorite stats. 13th place finish for Ty Dillon 3 years ago in the number 42 Petty GMS. That was kind of the next best ride he's had. This is the best one he's ever had, but that was another great ride for him. And close, really close to that top 10 at the end of the day. Solid day for him there. The other top 10s that I'm going to kind of speculate on, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., his outright is around 100 to 1. So I'm just going to put 10 to 1. I think maybe it'll be a little bigger than this, but we were kind of going back and forth before the show. 10 to 1 is probably the right area. I know JDK has been pumping Stenhouse up in the Discord. I believe when we were talking about the Kyle Larson head-to-head, he said he'd take Ricky Stenhouse over Kyle Larson or over Kyle Busch, rather. Maybe he might take him over Kyle Larson. He does not like Kyle Larson, but on himself a season, Rod. I was a little bit unsure when they switched to this Hayek Motorsports and changed ownerships and all that, but it's been a pretty good run. 19th at Kansas is an okay day. 6th place finish at Texas. You love to see stuff like that. 18th at Vegas is, again, hanging around, being in the mix, and kind of being there towards the end. That's what you're looking for. What has he done in the Coke 600, though, Rod? 31st last year. Up doesn't count because it wasn't 600 miles. 7th place in 2023. 7th place in 2022. 12th place. Let's see, was this the 600 mile or the... So he was 12th place in the 600 mile in 2020, 4th place in the 500 mile in 2020. So great runs there. 2019, he had a 5th place finish in this race. 2018, he had a 10th place finish in this race. It has been really, really good runs for Ricky Stenhouse. Even you go back to 2017, the May race, he was 15th in the 600 here, another 15th in 16. It's been some really, really great runs. A 14th place going all the way back to 2013 in one of his first starts here. His very first start here, actually in the Wood Brothers car. do not remember Ricky Stenhouse driving the Wood Brothers car, Rod, but an 11th place finish, like great runs by Ricky Stenhouse. He is, as much fun as we make and Ricky Spinhouse, all this stuff. He's a good, solid driver that gets there to the end of these races. He's looked really, really good this season. I've been very impressed with everything I've seen, and amazing runs throughout his career in the Coca-Cola 600. So love Stenhouse this week. Again, I think that's probably 10-1. I would take it at that number. Maybe it comes out 13-14, jump on it early, because I think people will, get on board with that and be on him. So the other one, again, probably somewhere in the 10-1 market. I'm hoping a little bit more. He's 90-1 top Toyota, so maybe you get a little bit better number for the top 10. John Nemechek, I just went over all the stats. I just talked about it, but 10th place at Kansas, 8th place at Texas. That he's already done it the last 2.5 miles we had. 2 of the 3 comp tracks we've had this season. The 30th last year, again, throw it out. 16th in his other attempt back in 2020. 13th in that 2020 500 miler as well. Racing into the All-Star race last week. I think that's a big momentum swing for that team. Things have been looking really solid, really good in that Legacy Motor Club group. And I like Mr. Nemechek this week. So Stenhouse top 10, Nemechek top 10. Again, no odds at this time, but I'm projecting somewhere 10-1, maybe a little bit north of that. So give me both those guys.
Yep, I absolutely love your, John Hunter Nemechek for sure. And, Ricky Stenhouse, like you said, we give him a lot of grief, but I'm pretty sure that, he could take that 47 and drive it very well for 600 miles. So I'll take that as well. All right. I'm going to go to the fastest lap market because I love that they keep giving us this. And actually, honestly, the fastest lap market this year has been a lot of fun because we did hit it earlier with Tyler Reddick, and I think we can exploit it again for Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson to have the fastest lap of the entire race is at plus 350, but also to have the most fastest laps is plus 330 over on DK. Honestly, so our friends over at iFantasyRace.com actually have the season-to-date loop data heading into Charlotte, and you can actually go and sort all of this stuff like average start, average middle of the race, average finish, but you can also sort fastest laps, the number of fastest laps for the driver. And the driver leading that department is Kyle Larson, 269 of the fastest laps of the season. He leads all drivers, and he leads Ryan Blaney by a good 65 laps in this one as far as how many total fast laps he's led or he's turned this season. So Kyle Larson, 269 fastest laps this year. And I mean, honestly, when you're talking about one of the fastest drivers week in and week out, it's Kyle Larson. So it stands to reason that you get a guy coming from the IndyCar speed into the 500 or into the NASCAR speed. Then he's going to pretty much just go fast. And I think he didn't get a chance to do it last year. He's out to prove that he can do it this year and do it well. So for me, I'm going to grab onto that one. And then I'm also going to take Ryan Blaney, most fastest laps. He's at 7-1 over on DK. In fact, Ryan Blaney did actually have the most fastest laps on this track a few years ago. In fact, in 2023, Ryan Blaney had 79 fastest laps in this race to Tyler Reddick's 37. We talked about it before. Ryan Blaney, just a fast driver every single week. And in fact, like I said, he's second place to Kyle Larson in this stat with 204 fastest laps. The next guy with the most fastest laps is William Byron at 188. So Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, the only two drivers who have had 200 or more of the fastest laps in the season. So to me, I'm taking the fastest two guys on the track, and I'm betting on them to be fast again. So Ryan Blaney, 7-1 for the most fast laps. Kyle Larson, plus 330 for the most fast laps. And then if you want to just go ahead and throw plus 350 on Kyle Larson to have the fastest lap of the entire race, because I guarantee you right now, wherever Kyle Larson is on the grid, he's going to go flat out, and he's going to try to dominate this race and just turn fast laps, lap after lap after lap. And, like I said, that goes well to us because we're betting on him to do that a lot. And 400 laps is a lot of laps and a lot of possibilities for him to get in there. So yeah, give me all of those. Give me Larson fast lap at plus 350, most fast laps at plus 330, and Blaney most fastest laps at 7-1.
Yeah, I got no argument for any of those. I think good solid cases. And again, this is one of those spots where we get a fun, good market to keep betting on. Give us more stuff, or just top tens.
And we hit the Tyler Reddick one a while back, and that was a lot of fun. So definitely good to be there.
Yeah,
All right.
we've hit this a couple times as we hit McDowell on the last Super Speedway, I think, as well. So, it's been a fun little market to get in on.
It is. Speaking of fun markets to get in on, outright markets, always fun. Cody, who's going to win this race?
Yes, they are, Rod. I looked at this, and I've got 4 outrights for you, and the lowest one is 17-1 because I looked at the top of the board, and I thought Kyle Larson, I could make a strong case for him to win this. Tyler Reddick, I could make a pretty good case for him to win this. Denny Hamlin, could make a great case for him to win this. Ryan Blaney, I could make a great place for him to win this. Christopher Bell, William Byron, I could make a great case for any of those guys to win this race. And splitting hairs, picking one of them, and if you want to, go for it. Maybe on race day I'll change my mind and have somebody else, but the parity we're at right now, where we're at, what we've seen from Speed and everybody, it's just hard to pick one of those guys, I think, at this point in time. So I'm going to settle for 4 guys, longer shots, smaller unit size. And it's going to start with Chase Elliott, 17-1 at FanDuel. Talked about him a couple of times already. He looked fast recently. You saw a bunch of speed at Kansas. I'm really clinging on to that. And 2 bad races in here. I've talked about the asterisk already, but he's been fast at this track. He's been good in the 600 miler before, and he's that type of guy that gets you to the end. I love that for Elliott. Josh Berry, I am full on the Josh Berry train, Rod. I can't believe how many times I've bet on Berry so far this year. 22-1 over on ESPN. He has been so fast this year, especially on 1.5 miles. I mean, it's been insane how fast Josh Berry has been this year, Rod. He finished, first of all, 10th place in this race last year in that 4 car. That's his only start in this race. So made it to the end through the endurance thing. He got here and had a good day. 6th at Kansas. I was at Kansas in person. He had the fastest car on the track. He was faster than Kyle Larson. That car was so fast. He was eating through the field, got that speeding penalty late that killed him, fought all the way back up to 6th place. He was so fast. He won at Las Vegas earlier this season. He was fast at Texas, too. Remember, he was in the lead when he crashed at Texas. 3 for 3 fast, good-looking cars on 1.5 miles. Love that for Josh Berry. And I love this number. We've seen out of this Penske camp, the speed is there. You know, I said after Vegas, it might be a fluke. We needed to see more. We've seen more. We've seen plenty. I'm all in on Josh Berry at 22-1 over on ESPN. Chris Buescher is 28-1 over on FanDuel. Look, we saw a little bit of speed out of Keselowski at Kansas. Again, where'd that come from? How did it get there? Sure, okay, I get it. But 8th place finish here last year. Started in 2nd place. 8th place finish in 23. 8th place finish in 21. Maybe a bit of a pattern there. Had a 10th place finish in 20. 6th place finish back in 2019, even in that JTG car. So Chris Buescher has been solid in this long race. And we've seen, again, another guy that we often go to in the top 10 market. And I'd love to know what his top 10 number is this week so I can know if I could bet on him or not. But been a guy that we rely on to get to the end. We've seen speed out of the RFK cars. Priest has had a lot of speed this year. Buescher's had some speed. Even Kez has had some flashes. So I like him at that number. And then Chase Briscoe at 30-1. We've gotten to the point now. I was against him early in the season. The numbers were so. Remember how he was just like a favorite every week because they're like, "Oh my God, he's getting this 19 car. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great." It wasn't. It wasn't. We told you it was gonna take time, but it's been time. We've had time. We've seen the time. Now he's got a bunch of really good runs lately. 4th place finish at Kansas again. Just that quiet get there. We talked about him in the top Toyota market. Quiet, get there, go forward. Had a 4th place run at Miami, another 1.5 miles. So kind of throw that in there. The season started out slow, but it's been good lately. 25th last year, 20th the year before. Not great runs, the 4 car, whatever, but 4th place finish in 2022. He's gotten it done before here. I think that he could get it done again. You're in that 19 car. Truex, again, has been really good in this race. Different driver, I get it, but that car, that equipment that's transferring over, we haven't seen him get a chance in a car like this. And now, last time we were out at Kansas in a very similar track, he had a great run. He had the speed at the end. He was there with a chance. That's all you're looking for at 30-1. It's 30-1 for a Joe Gibbs Racing car with a good driver, a driver who's won races in Chase Briscoe, and it's taken some time to adjust. But if this is the week they hit it, you can get him at 30-1. You're never going to see this number for him again in that car if he starts to win races or really compete. So you got to take advantage while you can. So Chase Elliott 17-1, Josh Berry 22-1, Chris Buescher 28-1, and Chase Briscoe at 30-1.
So as far as Elliott and Berry are concerned, I love it. Obviously, Briscoe and Buescher are the long shots, but you're right. Look, Briscoe has started to settle in a little bit. We even saw it a little bit at the All-Star race where, we thought for a second he would be a contender. So I'm not hating that as much as I was before. He's the cover guy for a reason. So I love it. I'm going to go a little bit lower on the odds chart, but still a respectable price for Ryan Blaney. You just talked about it. He's at 8-1 over on DK. That's the best price that I could find. I just got done telling you, he's been one of the fastest cars all season long with the fast laps, but his average running position in the middle of the race has been 10.9, right? So he's been in the top 10 for a majority of the race. He spent 75% of the entirety of the season inside of the top 15, right? Which is third really only to Tyler Reddick and Kyle Larson. Larson's at 80, Reddick's at 79.5. Ryan Blaney's right there at 75.9. Ryan Blaney's just due. He is just due. And he won this race a couple of seasons ago. And I'll tell you right now, it's been tough for repeat winners. I 1000% understand that. But it hasn't been to the point where somebody hasn't won this race back to back in a very long time, is even on this track in general. So he hasn't necessarily got that going for him, but couple of solid finishes for Ryan Blaney. He's been putting it together. 5th at Darlington, 5th at Bristol. Bad day at Talladega, Super Speedway, it happens. 3rd at Texas, 3rd at Kansas. He's inching closer, right? Top 5 in a couple of tracks. Top 3 in a couple of tracks. What's next? That top step on the podium. I think Ryan Blaney, he's due. He really, really needs the momentum that he's on right now. Looked good at the All-Star race too, for the most part. So, I'm back on Blaney and I'm back on him in a big way, because I think this is a track where the mileage, everything that just screams this is going to be a Ryan Blaney race is a Ryan Blaney. If it's not Kyle Larson, I think it's going to be Ryan Blaney. And again, we didn't mention Carson. We didn't mention Carson, and that's good. But we didn't mention Larson as an outright. So I feel like, that's kind of a no-brainer. Yeah, he's a favorite. Everybody will tell you that. But I really do believe Ryan Blaney is going to put together a good night, and 8-1's a fantastic number. He's as low as 7-1 in some places. I think I might have seen him at 6-1 somewhere, but 8-1's a really good price for Ryan Blaney.
Carson Hocevar living rent-free in Rod's head. Can't get through a sentence without thinking about him. Just wanted to make sure that was pointed out. But Ryan Blaney, I'm fully on board with it. I was on him at Kansas. I thought that was going to be the week. Maybe I was one regular season race too early. Maybe it's this week. But yeah, I got no arguments.
Yeah, I mean, look, Blaney needs that win, right? That's the win that he's missing. He saw Logano do well at the All-Star race too. He knows that he needs to win one to be able to be locked in to the playoffs. So, all right, get out your pen and paper. No graphic today. Thank the books for that one. Let's go old school again for that one. By the way, I just want you. My daughter is there was an assignment in her school that they had to pick an influencer and do a report on that influencer. Well, of course, she decides to pick Cody and Rod because, listen, this is where we're at now. We're influencers, right? So she's doing a report, and I'm watching all of her slides, and her conclusion slide says, "Get out your pen and paper." And I was like, "Oh, I love you so much."
Proud papa tears right there.
Right? That just means that the catchphrase is stuck. So get out your pen and paper. Time to go over our bets for this Coca-Cola 600 from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Cody started you out with William Byron over Tyler Reddick at even money over on Bet365, plus 100 for that. And then he tossed in Elliott over Busch at minus 130 over on ESPN. I said that Ross Chastain would finish better than Tyrone Gibbs at minus 115. And then Cody gave you Zane Smith as a top forward at 50-1. Todd Gilliland at 100-1 as the top forward. Top Toyota, Chase Briscoe, 12-1, or John Hunter Nemechek at 90-1. I said Bubba Wallace would finish better than Brad Keselowski at minus 125 over on ESPN Bet. Cody gave you the winning car number under 12.5, and I highly endorse this one at plus 115. I gave you Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, and William Byron all to finish inside of the top 10 at plus 110 over on Caesars. Cody loaded you up with a bunch of top 10s, and he's guessing on this one because obviously we don't have any, but Elliott top 10, somewhere around minus 110 is where we think it's going to be. We'll still take it. And then Tyrone Dillon as a top 10 car. Cody's projecting it at 10-1. I'm sorry, 18-1. And we take that as well. I said that there would be over 13.5 cautions in this race at minus 115. Cody gave you Ricky Stenhouse as a top 10 car, estimated at 10-1. John Hunter Nemechek as a top 10 car, also estimated at 10-1. I said that Larson would turn the fastest lap in this race at plus 350. I also said that he would have the most fastest laps at plus 330. And if he does not, Ryan Blaney, 7-1 to have the most fastest laps. Cody said that Chase Elliott at 17-1 on FanDuel. Josh Berry at 22-1 over on ESPN. Chris Buescher, 28-1 FanDuel. Chase Briscoe, 30-1 on ESPN would win this race. I said Ryan Blaney, 8-1 to win this race over on DK. Cody, longest race of the season, almost our longest episode of the year. I think it's apropos.
Yes, I love it. DG saying my boy Blaney called at the top of the show. That outright comes full circle for him, Rod. Speaking of longest race, also maybe the longest week of the I bet Parks has top 10s. I don't think I've ever heard of that book.
That's a Pennsylvania book, I think.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah,
maybe that'd be good to at least reference stuff. But we have a ton of stuff coming up this week. So make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed over at NASCAR Gambling Podcast on YouTube. Click that bell. Indy 500 show. We're going to have a full episode dedicated to the Indy 500. It's one of our favorite races of the year to make picks for. There's some props and stuff out there. Again, kind of waiting for finishing positions and stuff. So probably be tomorrow at some point. Again, we don't know for sure yet because we don't have all the information. So make sure you click the subscribe button, hit that bell so you know when we do go there. Tonight, Rod and I are going to be on the Sports Gambling Podcast, the main channel. We'll hopefully have top 10s by then, Rod. We could share some on that show. So make sure you check that out. We can recover it. It's a lot of the same stuff, but always fun to join the bosses, and they kind of come at it from an angle of guys that don't really know how to bet on motorsports or not into it as much. And so it's a lot of fun for us to jump on over there. So that'll be live, I believe around 10:30 Central Time this evening. So a little late night with the SGP fellas. Tomorrow we'll be back, Xfinity and Truck Series episode combined. Then I'll be on the Steph Smalls show. She's another SGPN host. Going to be a lot of fun talking over there. Indy 500, Coke 600. Then, Rod, still not done. We'll be back on Thursday for the DFS Underdog show to kind of wrap up the week. So a lot of content around the biggest week in racing. So yeah, we're pumped for it, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
This is how good a handicapper is Cody Zeeb. Chase Elliott on Bet Parks minus 125 for a top 10 finish. Ty Dillon 9-1 for a top 10 finish.
9-1.
So you were
I missed that. I doubled it.
Ricky Stenhouse is at plus 550 for a top 10 finish. And John Hunter Nemechek is going to be, I'm just trying to scroll. Where's John Hunter?
Scroll all the way to the bottom, hopefully.
No, actually, plus 650 for
Well, those are definitely a little shorter. But that's one place. I don't know what their odds. Some books come out and they're very short compared to others. So we'll see. Obviously, I'd like bigger numbers on all those, but we'll take what we can get at some point. So at least there's somewhat of a reference point. Again, stay tuned in the Discord. Stay tuned on the YouTube. We'll update everything when some of the bigger books actually finally decide to have odds for us.
Handicappers, you can keep your job. Cody is not coming for it. So, all right. Well, Cody, speaking of which, we do have to jump off so we can jump on here in a couple hours. I got to eat. I got to take a pit stop, right? I got to get 4 fresh tires, fill up with Sunoco fuel before the bosses have at us. And we got to sound like we know what we're talking about. So in the meantime, let's tell everybody goodbye.
Yes.
And let them fill out their cards.
Yeah, follow me over on the X-Rod at Husker_Zeeb. You can find all my stuff there. NHL conference finals are out. I got a best bets article for that. NASCAR article will be out. I'll have some top 10s hopefully in that for sportsgamblingpodcast.com. Indy 500 article as well. NFL stuff I've got in the works, AF1 stuff as always here lately. So tons and tons of stuff. Follow me over on the X at Husker_Zeeb to find all of that. Follow the show as well at NASCAR Gambling. Click the like, click the subscribe. If you've hung with us this long, appreciate you. We love you. Laura, hard hands for you and your heart emoji there. So we'll see you guys tomorrow, later today. Who knows?
Whatever. It's all blending into one at this point. Follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. Link in the bottom. Everything I got going on, whether it's here. Make sure you're checking out In Between Media. I will be with Elliot on the back road tomorrow, breaking down the Coca-Cola 600 to maybe have a little bit of F1 and IndyCar fun there as well. And I decided to give myself a week off from everything else. But make sure you're listening to the Season Pass AF1 podcast. You may hear a familiar voice on there as well. Love you all. We'll see you tomorrow. We got plenty of content, so you won't miss us at all this week. So, yeah, we'll see you then. Until then, let's go racing and let it ride.